Morning, everybody. We're back down here in the woods after a few days of snow and cold weather, and so I'm hoping it's going to be a lot better today in these woods. I will have to break through the trail, which won't be much. There's about 6, maybe 8 inches of snow in places out through the woods, which is great. It'll make for a nice trail, and then next few days it's supposed to be good and cold tonight, so it should freeze up nice, and we should be able to really go right at it. So anyways, let's see how the day progresses. Well, that was great. I forgot my bridles this morning, so I just had to run home and grab them. I'm so glad I'm moved off my pine job, which was 9 miles away. Had that happened, that would have been really bad. But since this hardwood job is just a little ways down the road, no big deal. I actually threw the horses back into the trail and ran back up here and grabbed my bridles and headed back down again. See if things go better now. Not a good start to the day, that's for sure. But we're not gonna let that stop us from having a good day. Hey, well, I'm almost into where we're logging. This is actually a long ways in, going in. I will measure it sometimes to tell you how long it does take me to walk in here. But anyways, so we had started this job last week, and it had warmed up, and it was starting to get wet, so I stopped skidding on the trail because I didn't want it to mess up the trail and I wanted it to freeze up. And then we got some snow. And it's amazing, probably a lot of you already realize this, but when you get snow, it actually stops any of the ground from freezing, and it actually will, if it is frozen, it'll actually thaw it out. This trail is actually worse now than it was last week, just because the snow has actually thawed out what little bit did get frozen. So you can see right here, there's water sitting right in the trail. And if I was to travel this lot, it'd turn into a muddy mess, of course. So I guess again today, I'm going to have to just skid out a couple of loads, a couple of skids through here to make sure the snow is packed down good so that it will freeze tonight. This whole area is a swamp. I have been working here for I think 3 years now, maybe even 4, I'm not sure. It's a big piece of property, and it's a lot of wood that I've taken out of here. And it's been a long skid, so it takes longer, of course, to get it out. So I've had a lot of troubles with this swampland. And where I'm cutting my hardwood logs, it's up on the hill and it's all high and dry, but I still need to get from point A to point B, which means going through this swamp. Last year I brought my excavator in and I did a lot of ditching, and I actually did a video on it. And so this ditch right here is just one of the many ditches that I made on this trail, and where the water comes down kind of from 3 different angles. A lot of water right there coming through, and then water from that ditch also. So the water had to cross the road somewhere to go down into the swampy ground, which is down there. And so I put in this little bridge right here, which all it is just a couple skids across the ditch, and then some planking. Nothing fancy, nothing to last for too long, just for a couple years, just so I can get this job done. And but this job has taken me a lot longer than I thought. Originally it was just, I was cutting the pine in here. There was some humongous pine, and then there was a big side hill that we're coming to up to our right that had a lot of nice hardwood on it. And since it's so difficult to get out, the owners, we had a forester market, but the owners wanted to cut it really heavy, just because it's just not something you can get out. You can't come in here every 5 years. It's just too much work to it. So you got to take a bigger chunk at one time. It's just the way it is on this particular job. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, we'll continue heading in, and I'm going to skid a few hitches out. I'll show you when we get up there. I may do some other work up there also. But then this afternoon I might quit logging and let it freeze overnight. And I have my sleigh ride trail to roll since we get this new snow. So I will probably take the blacks out and roll that trail. So let's continue up through the trail. What cap's that?
I should add that this piece right here is actually another neighbor's land. The landing is on my land, and I have to go through one neighbor's property to get to the other neighbor's property where the trees are.
Oh. So this is actually a landing that I had last winter. I logged a little different last winter than I'm doing right now, although I might go back to that way. I actually had my excavator up in here, and I used a sled that we loaded the logs onto and used and hauled them out that way. Since it's such a long skid, we thought that would work best. And I think it still possibly would, but until I get a good frozen trail, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to skid for a while. So the job is up in that area there. Oh, I don't know. There's probably acreage wise, I don't know, but it's all marked with blue paint. There's maple, which is the best stuff. There's some ash in there, a lot of basswood in there, a lot of firewood, a lot of beech. So what I did last week, because I couldn't use the trail far beyond this, I just skidded them down to this point here. So I've got several sticks here ready to go. And so right now I'm just going to haul out a hitch and see how the road looks. And then I'll come back in, and I had a trail off to my right where all the deer tracks are. And then the other day I made this new trail out through here, and I'll talk more about that as we get logging. So we'll get hitched on and take out a load. I don't want a big hitch, and as a matter of fact, I might even cut some of these in half, because I don't want them to have to pull hard, because when they're pulling hard and digging hard, it means they just put more pressure on their legs to dig and to pull, and it just, their feet go deeper and deeper into the mud. So I don't want a heavy hitch, but I want a wide hitch so it gets the whole trail. So a lot of this is just firewood, and so I think I'll cut it down into, even as short as 8 and 10 feet long, so that I can take like at least 4 pieces wide, so I can really pack my trail. So that's what we'll try to do. I'll get hitched up and then I'll show you. So I got these 2 basswood logs. I decided just to cut them 8-footers, and we'll snake these 2 out and see what the road looks like after we're done that. Bye-bye. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Not much of a hitch, that's for sure. Can't imagine trying to make a living skidding this small amount out of the woods from this distance, but to do it for right now, we need to do it to break this trail. And careful step.
Here I'm back for another hitch.
Oh. Go back. Oh. Go back.
Your cuff's up. Oh, this is pretty soft. Sloppy mud, and but just by traveling this, hopefully by tomorrow morning, it will be froze up in most places. All the places right there where there's water pushing right up through, it's going to be harder to freeze it. But I've dealt with this for several years now, and I've been able to freeze it every year, so hopefully that shouldn't be a problem. Although it's been a later winter, I say later, here it is mid-January and we're just starting to freeze up the trail. So it's not giving me a lot of winter after we do get the trail froze up to get this wood out, but we'll try our best. Well, good morning, everybody. We're gonna head in and see how our trail looks this morning. It's around 7:30 this morning and it got down to, I saw 2 above 0. So that's about where it is right now. So we'll see how well things froze up last night. I decided to bring the blacks with me this morning and keep them in shape and rework them, and hopefully we can have a good frozen trail. I've got a pretty good idea. Some of these spots are still not going to be frozen, but hopefully a lot of it will be. So we'll go out and see what it looks like. It's cold enough I decided to wear my mittens. I got my gloves for running the chainsaw, but it's just cold enough that it's such a long trip back and forth, so I have to stay warm. Well, it's made quite a difference this morning. It's a lot better than it was. This is the same spot, I think, that I showed you yesterday, and this still is not frozen. But it's a spot that it's not going to hurt to work it. I have been most concerned with my little bridges that I have through here. If it's too, I don't want a log to hit a bridge and tear the bridge up. But they seem to be fine around the bridges. So we just have a couple spots, I think, like this, that we'll still have to deal with. It's going to take several days to freeze this up. But the weather sounds pretty good, so I think it will freeze up all right. So we'll continue on and get us some logs to skid out. Oh, well, there's another bad spot there. I'm seeing water running too, so that's a concern. I might have to do something there, but we'll deal with that as time goes on.
Yeah.
Okay, get that hitch out all right. Still some pretty good mud holes, but we're just gonna have to live with them. I wanted to show you or tell you about how long it takes to walk in there. It is 8:30 right now. We'll see what time it is when we get in there. Okay, made it up in here to the edge of my lot, and It is quarter of, so it took me 15 minutes to walk in. It's a long ways. And that's really not all the way. I'm just on the edge of where I'm cutting, but it really doesn't go too far and that much farther. So anyways, just to give you an idea how far it is in here for this log job. So hopefully next few more days things will really freeze up good and I can really put the wood out. But it still will be slow from this distance. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good day.